This is the WWE NXT New Year's Evil January 7th, 2025 full show results video. The show started with a match between Julia vs Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. Match starts, flash pin out the gates from Perez, Julia trying for a submission in return, denied, Roxanne with a side headlock. Shot off, drop down, cartwheel over and the champion cracks her with an elbow. Repeated stomps to the hand, arm wringer, shoulder arm breaker, uppercut the elbow, Julia gets under her for a Saito suplex but she pops right back up and returns the favor. Clutching the injured arm, Revolution Michinoku driver, only a near fall. Roxanne with an arm trap crossface, roll away from the ropes, pop rocks blocked, dropkick sends Julia to the floor. Big damage on the floor, both women down, Cora Jade shows up to throw her buddy in to beat the count but Julia pops up to beat the count as well. Fujiwara armbar, reverse to a pin, cover for two, Julia stays on her and hits the Northern Lights bomb to defeat Roxanne Perez by pinfall to become the new NXT Women's Champion. Backstage somewhere Eddie Thorpe is writhing in pain on steps and getting checked on by medics, but Ava Raine tells him to suck it up and wrestle his match, because he can only pull the same trick on her once. We get a promo package from J. Yvonne Evans where he talks about his jaw being wired shut and that he's going to make all ego Ethan Page feel his pain. Then we saw a four-way match between Cora Jade vs Kalani Jordan vs Lola Vice vs Stephanie Vaquer to become the #1 contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Four-way chaos to start, Jordan gets ahead of steam, shoulder block on Jade, roll over, pass her aside, T. Harris, cartwheel through it, Cora lands a neckbreaker drop. Corner knees on Cora, Lola grabs a sleeper, Vaquer takes her down into a pin for two. Kick combo from Vice, first on Stephanie and then on Kalani, to the floor, Vaquer with a plancha, Jordan with an Orihara moonsault. Back inside, crossbody from Kalani, Stephanie rolls through into a cover, back and forth, Vice gets involved and throws Vaquer to the floor. Jade cuts her off with a knee, Jordan cuts her off with an Olympic slam in turn. Kalani off the top, nobody home on the 450, into everybody do something cool territory. In the end, Stephanie Vaquer won the match by pinfall with SBB on Kalani Jordan, becoming the #1 contender to the NXT Women's North American Championship. Ava Raine informs Unholy Union that she's booked them in a #1 contenders match for the tag titles next week. An interview rolls up and Ava says Eddie is fine and he's still in the match. Oba Femi rolls up and says he actually attacked Eddie as a receipt and Ava shrugs and says he's still in the match. The next match happened between Fatal Influence vs Gigi Dolan, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tatum Paxley. Shotzi with an elbow, Fatal Influence turned the tide briefly but the match breaks down and Fallon cuts Blackheart out of midair with an elbow. Dolan mounts a defense but Jane lays her low with a cannonball. Shotzi suplexes Jasmine on the floor, all 6 women are down. Paxley with a back suplex on Jane, tag to Dolan, clearing the corner, going after JC, off the ropes, lariat for 2. Nyx runs interference, tag to Henley, double neckbreaker from Gigi and a tag to Shotzi. Diving crossbody takes the heels out, off the ropes, side slam neckbreaker combination, but breaks by the Fatal Influence. In the end, Shotzi Blackheart goes off the top, hits diving senton on Fallon Henley, pinned her, and Gigi Dolan, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tatum Paxley won the match by pinfall. Backstage, Ava Raine reads Ethan Page the riot act for injuring J. Yvonne Evans so bad and he complains about not being booked on such a big show. She says this is her show and she calls the shots, and it's perfect timing, The Rock rolls up behind Ethan Page. They introduce each other politely, Rock says he's hurt a lot, not all good, and he heard he broke a guy's jaw, and Ethan says he deserved it. Dwayne says Payback will be a bitch, but just like he told the rest of the roster, if All Ego needs anything, he can come to him. And he's the final boss, but here on NXT, Ava is the final boss, so if they're gonna be cool, he's gotta be cool with Ava. Page begrudgingly says he'll be cool and Rock says he'll see him on the main roster and sends him on his way with a pat on the ass like it's 1961 and All Ego is his secretary. Ava talks up the NXT crowd being different and Dwayne says he's gonna go out there and he's gonna say whatever he's gonna say from the heart. Then we saw NXT Heritage Cup sudden death match between Charlie Dempsey vs Lexis King. King with headlock takeovers, Dempsey working him over, arm wringer, cravate applied, action to the floor, King with a plancha onto the whole no quarter catch crew. Charlie shifts, cross armbar, Lexis with the counter powerbomb, cover for 2, Dempsey gets a crossface chicken wing to stabilize and King gets the ropes. Charlie lighting him up with right hands, off the ropes, boot up in the corner, whip across, they knock skulls and both men are wobbly. Backslide for 2, drop down, leapfrog and Dempsey's crotch goes into King's face. In the end, Lexus hooks him and defeated Charlie Dempsey by pinfall with coronation and become the new NXT Heritage Cup champion. In Ava Rain's office, Shotzi Blackheart and Stephanie Baker are arguing over who should be the #1 contender to Fallon Henley's NXT Women's North American Championship, and Fallon suggests they wrestle for it and Ava likes it and books it for next week. Then we saw a triple threat match between Eddie Thorpe versus Oba Femi versus Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. Thorpe is off licking his wounds somewhere else as we start, collar and elbow, struggling, Femi with a waistlock takedown, and then Williams counters with a jawbreaker and follows it up with an attitude adjustment that sends Oba to the floor. Femi has a rear chinlock as we see Eddie Thorpe, chair in hand, making his way through the bowels of the arena. Oba with a back suplex, Williams lands on his feet and posts him shoulder first. Spinebuster countered with a DDT, Cyclone kill, but Femi kicks out Oba with an uppercut, Liger bomb, but Eddie Thorpe pulls referee out of the ring. Carrying his chair to the apron, Femi slings him inside and drops him with a boot and a lariat. Whip to the corner, spinning Spinebuster connects, release powerbomb, back and forth, Williams back in with trick shot, taking the knee pad down, Oba sidesteps and the knee goes into the steel chair. In the end, Oba Femi hits fall from grace on Trick Williams, pin Trick, and become the new NXT champion. Oba Femi celebrates with Julia on the stage and we go to break in anticipation of The Rock. Back from the commercial, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson makes his entrance and, eventually, gets on the mic. He says something that gets eaten by censorship but might have been "this is fucking me up emotionally" and says this'll be the best 6 minutes. The Rock has a lot of nicknames, he says: People's Champ, Most Electric Man in Entertainment, Sexiest Man Alive, Jabroni Beating, Pie Eating, etc. etc., The Final Boss, The Rock. He says people would complain to him about being mean to Cody Rhodes, but last night on Netflix he wanted to give Cody his flowers because he's been kicking ass with the company on his shoulders, and what did they say? You can't be nice to Cody, don't drink tequila with Cody. At the end of the day, let us all remind them that The Rock is the final boss thinking 20 steps ahead, so know your role, shut your mouth, and enjoy the ride The Rock is taking you on. He says he knew he was coming to NXT a couple weeks ago. Nick Khan thought it was a great idea but he didn't know what to say. He spoke with Ava and she said he'd feel the energy, and he talks about the difference in energy between Raw and here and how critical it is that these fans here have this energy so these girls and guys working their ass off can be in the main event of WrestleMania in 3 years or they could be out of the business. It's a rambling mess and he says he'll always come back and drops "if you smell what The Rock is cooking" right as we have to go off the air. Let me know in the comments section that whether you like the show or not. How would you rate NXT New Year's Evil 2025 show? If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe The Wrestling Battle. Please like the video and thanks for watching the video. We'll see you in the next video. For now, take care, enjoy the day.